We had a comment on our Altar of Tears video a few weeks ago. Sometimes these children just aren't safe at home and are being abused and neglected by junkie parents that are only keeping the kids for the money they can get from the government. Bracket, first-hand experience. Benny, I'm sorry you had this experience, and this is certainly true for 15% of child abuse cases, which is why child protection is so important to get right. The problem is that 85% of removals are not because of physical or sexual abuse, but instead are for what is called neglect. Everyone assumes that for child protection to be involved and to take your children means you must have done something very bad to them. But the things that come under neglect are often quite ridiculous reasons. So let's look at some of the reasons children have been taken. So this first one is Tammy Stefano interviewing a child protection worker whistleblower on air. The social worker was so scared of speaking out that they had to disguise their voice. The interview is very in-depth and well worth a watch. I'll post a link to all the videos I feature here in the description so you can take a look for yourself.
You yourself have seen where parents are safe, they've jumped through hoops, and yet a decision is made from higher-ups within the department that it doesn't really matter if the parents are safe because somebody made a call to somebody else in the higher echelon of the department, and it was already predetermined that that child was leaving that family regardless of how safe that family was. Is that right?
That's right.
How did you feel about that?
I didn't think that I had heard right, but I did, and then the case was taken away from me.
So often, it literally doesn't matter what these parents do because the outcome is predetermined. The social worker goes on to explain that in this case, a drug test was changed to be positive when it was in fact negative. This one will stun you. Speaking here is an attorney from Tennessee.
When you start hearing what neglect can be, I was just in Connecticut, and there's a great attorney up there named Lisa Benson, and I was working with her, and she was telling me very specifically about this case that she's worked on very hard. And neglect was things like the parents let the children eat dessert before they had finished their dinner.
Wow.
So therefore, they were not providing them proper nutrition. They took 4 children from that home.
I recently had a conversation with a person who attended a child protection forum in Geelong. Other red flags for child protection involvement include a parent with a disability, an Indigenous parent, anyone who has experienced domestic violence, and any parent under the age of 18, parents who choose to homeschool their children, and children who have disabilities. So a bit of background on this story. This is the father of a 7.5-year-old going through family court with his wife. The mum has custody of the daughter, but dad gets access all day Sunday. On one of these visits, the kid is bouncing away on a couch or something, clutches her heart, and says she has chest pains and has to stop. Comes out that mum has put the kid on antipsychotic, and the dad becomes quite concerned about side effects and the fact that he hasn't been consulted or even informed over it. Now, this dad doesn't win any Father of the Year awards because he goes on to search online about possible side effects with his daughter present, and she gets freaked out thinking her mum is trying to poison her. Not the wisest parenting decision ever. However, hardly a child protection issue. So keep in mind when watching this. Mum gives 7.5-year-old antipsychotics. But let's see what child protection focuses on.
What I do is I pick her up, I get coffee, she gets a soda.
At 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the 0-calorie sodas.
Still caffeine though.
Yeah, it isn't. Nope, no caffeine.
No, there was no caffeine in that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it says 0 everything on it.
You might want to double check that because a lot of those 0-calorie sodas still have caffeine.
I will.
And that's not good for an 8-year-old.
She's correct in that some Diet Coke has caffeine in it. However, Dad has already clearly stated he's not giving her caffeine, so it's unlikely he's giving her a Coke.
And the sugar content alone in a soda is
There's
not
a zero.
in the morning.
0 calorie, 0 sugar.
But they're using some other sweetener, which is also sugar. It's also, it's a sugar substitute.
Yes.
Yes. So it has the
Like-
same
like-
effects as sugar on an 8-year-old.
It does?
Yes.
I thought sugar was fattening and it
It
gave you
also-
energy, but this
yes,
has not
it
been
gives them
metabolized.
energy.
It's not
It will
much.
also give them energy.
Well, let's not take the social worker acting as a dietitian's word for it, shall we? Yeah, nah. Literally no energy, people. To be fair, I researched, and there is some debate in the scientific community about how healthy or unhealthy diet drinks are. There are some wild theories out there, but there is a general agreement that pumping our bodies full of chemicals is probably not very good for it. But this social worker is truly reaching with a lot of this.
It's not
It will
much.
also give them energy. It's not a good idea to be giving that to an 8-year-old, especially at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Even if it's sugar-free and caffeine-free, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She should be drinking milk, juice.
Look, I don't inherently have a problem with giving a child milk or juice, but just how is giving a diet soda a child protection issue? Seriously, what levels of interference in parenting is going on here?
And I said, well, this soda's okay because it has 0 calories. It's not like a meal. It's like water.
But it's not really like water. All that stuff still breaks down your body. If you want to give her something healthy to drink, if it's like water, then why isn't water good enough?
Because she wanted something tastier than water.
Juice. Watered down
Juice has calories.
Water it down. It's got nutrients in it. This soda has no valid nutrients whatsoever.
Well, that may be
You're giving
true.
her empty calories, even if it's
There's
at
no
0
calories.
It's empty chemicals that you're putting in your child's body. It's not teaching her any healthy eating habits. And I'm one to talk. I'm overweight, but I do eat actually as healthy as I possibly can. But anyhow, and I teach my child appropriate eating habits.
So by this stage, I think Dad's just stunned into silence.
You're concerned about her weight.
Way too big.
She's overweight.
Yes.
Okay.
She's 103 pounds now.
Okay.
And I've been weighing her every time she visits, and it's like going up 3/4 of a pound each time I visit. She visits with me.
Is she getting taller at all?
No.
Okay, how tall is she?
About 4.5 feet, something like that.
That's an appropriate weight.
So we went to a BMI calculator, and for her age, she was in the 99th percentile and obese. It actually said she should be seen by a doctor, as she may have weight-related health problems. So what does our social worker recommend as healthier food choices?
Well, we're not going to McDonald's. It's not a healthy place to eat.
Make some home chicken nuggets.
Yes. Not going to McDonald's. We can make chicken nuggets at home. We're not going to be doing McDonald's. It's not a healthy place to eat. And I don't want to take you somewhere that's not healthy. I want to help you learn healthy ways to eat.
Okay, so it isn't the food at McDonald's that's the issue. It's the place. Just going to McDonald's will make you stack on the weight. Stay at home and cook exactly the same food. That's the healthy choice.
I only have 8 hours on a week.
You're taking her to McDonald's. You're giving her energy drinks.
Wow, did you see that? 0 calorie soda turned into energy drinks. And yes, that is precisely what got written down and put in the court documents. This dad lost access to his daughter 4 days after this interview, based on these things. Wow. Ever taken your kid to McDonald's? Or given them a 0 calorie soda? Because, if so, you are apparently guilty of criminal neglect and could lose your child. This video has stacks of other content that I'll probably use in other videos. These are only a few cases, but there are so many stories I hear every day. So how much better off are children in foster care? They are 6 times more likely to die than if they stay in an abusive household. They're 7 to 8 times more likely to be physically or sexually abused. 50% of foster children end up homeless. They're 3 times more likely to be put on psychotropic drugs. They're more likely to get post-traumatic stress disorder than war veterans. I'm not sure about the statistics for jail and suicide, but I know they are significantly elevated than for children who are left with their families, even when their families are in an abusive situation. How is this protection of children? So please, don't assume that children are always removed because a parent is bad or a drug user or because they did anything wrong at all. I need you to understand that this can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. It's everyone's job to protect children. I need you to have compassion and empathy for parents who have lost their kids. Grief you feel as a family when you lose a child to child protection is heartbreaking. All those little moments, reading them a book at night, comforting them during a storm, their first day of school, baking with them. They're gone forever and can never be replaced. In the majority of the cases, the parents can be helped and their children should never have been removed. I'm in the process of interviewing a case from Victoria, Australia, where a child was removed because she smoked tobacco. If you want to share your story with me, wherever you are in the world, contact me on my website. This is happening everywhere in the Western world and is nothing short of state-sanctioned child trafficking. Stand with us against unacceptable practices in child protection. We are releasing a video with in-depth research and evaluation of this practice, as well as a discussion video. So please subscribe, hit the bell, and visit our website to see how you can get more involved.